Hello, this is Martin Mendelsberg. I teach at Metropolitan State University of Denver, Colorado, USA. I'm in the Communication Design Department. Today I'm going to review three works from Professor Harnoko's experimental typography class. The first work I'm going to select is by Leona. I think it's Leona Lim. Please forgive my pronouncements or lack of. Your keywords, bright, powerful, a few of those keywords, I think they really relate to what I see. I would add one really important word when I look at this without knowing about the project. I think about that word fluid. The composition really flows no matter what point you enter. The other thing that I think is important is the way in which you've used space in this composition. Because in some areas, especially on the left side, you actually penetrate the space. You move into the space. Down at the bottom, I see a large blue H which merges into that large loop at the bottom. I think the two kinds of space in a single composition are very powerful. I would challenge you to take this computer-generated image and see how you could translate that using only brush and ink, where you do not have the tool, the computer. We know that before we had typography, we had hand lettering, calligraphy. This is an area I'm most interested in. One thing I do want to say about the way in which you are using the words of the song, the way in which they get larger and smaller, we can think in terms of volume, and you can be hyper conscious of using volume. So I'll read one line I'm looking at here. Out of the bruises on your ego make you go wild. So as the letters get larger, you can actually feel like you turn up the volume. If you can really be hyper-conscious of this when you work, I think you will get further surprises, but a very nice piece. The next piece I'm going to look at is Giovanni or Giovanni. I hope one of those two is correct. Your keywords here are emotional, casual, dark, complex, and your song is So Beautiful. Which I listened to. It's got a really powerful beat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. What I find interesting about your piece is it really amplifies the quality, the lighting, the floating quality of the actual video that I watched. I think your color work here is really beautiful. It's deep, it's dark, it disappears into an infinite space. The texture you've created with the typography, small typography laying in the background is really quite successful. There's a nice contrast of letter forms here. You start with that absolutely centered, almost like a target, capital A, and then you surround it with serif and sans serif letters. It does have the feel of the piece. What I would encourage you to do, and actually all students, is to really listen to the instrumentation, listen to the sounds, see if you can translate those sounds, if you can translate the beat. But I think you've done a very good job on this one. This would be a good poster for the video itself. The last selection is by Nathaniel, and it's your second piece. I did admire your first piece with the statue of the thinker. You proved to me you've got good computer skills and type on path in Illustrator, but this second piece, When I Grow Up, I think is actually more interesting and more experimental, and it opens up many more possibilities. It's got a kind of beautiful ugliness to it. It's raw. I would encourage you to push it even further. What would happen, for example, if you took this and you printed it out and then you squeezed it up like the trash in the back of the truck in the video? You opened it up, you took a pair of scissors to it, rearranged it, photographed it, brought it back into the computer and put it back together. But this piece really does not have a formal composition, and that's what I like about it. It's not necessarily the piece I would do, but it's the piece that I would admire. And I think that's always important, because so many of us use our own personal taste when we look at work. But I think this is a very nice piece, and I encourage you to take this much further.